and welcome everybody. So our first order of business is to approve the minutes of the February 26th meeting. People had time to look through them? Any corrections?
I found a couple spelling problems.
Okay.
Nothing worth crying.
Okay, so you'll pass them along to Lisa and she can correct
Sure.
the spellings? And,
Okay.
okay, so do I have a motion to approve with the spelling corrections?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Passes unanimously. Next is our monthly report of our library director, who was busy as usual.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Another busy month for you. Okay. Financial and legislative, how are we doing with the fiscal year 19 budget?
Year to date. So we are in very good condition. I know that last month I spoke to you about some numbers related to salary and wages being a little off, but I've reviewed those all with the town accountant, and we're confident these numbers are now correct. So you can see we're in a good place for salaries as well as all the other operating expenses.
Yeah, there's really just a few months left in the
Yes,
end of fiscal
right.
year, so
Right.
Congratulations.
Right. There were a couple library materials expenses, especially databases that are coming through on that will be on the next report that kind of make further headway in that area. So
Is there any trends on what these databases are costing us?
more every year. Every year.
But
Actually, we've done a lot of negotiating this year. We have taken a few $100s off here and there, but not a tremendous amount.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of the given of online content is getting more and more expensive.
Yeah, I think it's true.
Yes, in academic libraries, that's a huge concern, because they're predominantly online.
Well, Germany just canceled a huge number of subscriptions with Elsevier, so that's gotten a lot of attention.
I bet.
Yeah, because that's a really publishing giant. Do we negotiate any of these with other libraries as part of a consortium?
We do, especially one of the major ones we do is our Massachusetts newspaper collection. We had started that up when the Central Region gave a grant for any libraries who were willing to take on a cooperative role, so we managed that. There was originally about 12 libraries. It's down to about 7 libraries that are still in that cooperative. So we do get some discounts there. That's a Newsbank product. But there are many that are purchased cooperatively through our networks, so that's helpful too, especially that broad kind of appeal. But some databases, there's just not enough broad appeal for that.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And we have quite a nice collection.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so how about the 2020 budget process?
That's moving along well. As those of you who were able to attend, we had our Finance Committee hearing on March 2nd and had the opportunity to give a lot of explanation behind, especially our library materials account request, but a discussion also of staffing. I was very pleased at how receptive the Finance Committee was to learning more about that. Asked a lot of really important questions, so I was pleased about that. I've since had conversations with the town manager who has requested more information about what the impact would be if the personnel board provides a cost of living adjustment, what the actual impact would be to the materials expenditure requirements. So I've been able to provide him that information, and he seemed open to seeing what he could do with that.
Yeah, I thought it went very well. Okay, and it won't be long till the word town meeting.
I know, that's right.
It's May 18th, I believe, or somewhere in mid-May, as usual, yeah. The date has already been set down. Next item is facilities and ground, and it's the plaque cleaning.
Actually, I have no update. I was hoping to have heard back from that company that had given us a quote, but I don't have that response regarding. What I do know is he was looking into acquiring additional hose for his pressure equipment to be able to do it in another site. So he hasn't come back to me with further information about that, whether it's viable and what the cost would be and all that. So I don't have further updates right now.
And that's part of the building project anyway, so.
That's funding for that, right.
Yeah, okay. All righty. Programs and services, we first of all have the LSTA Mind in the Making Grant project.
Right, this is the grant to improve the play areas in the children's department, and I just want to let you know that on a Sunday in March, we had an open house for, kind of a soft open house for a portion of the play spaces. The children's staff and I came in on a Sunday morning, cleared out everything that was there, brought in all the new furniture which our custodian had put together for us, and had a little open house to kind of highlight all the new materials down there. And all of the new materials have been a hit. People are really excited. So our next step is the outdoor space, and we're kind of in the planning stages about when we'll launch that. We have a few details to kind of pull together on the final pieces of that. We're ordering a banner to kind of brand the space. We have most of the equipment ordered. I think we're just waiting for one big piece. So, we're really pleased with that. We also had one of the speakers associated with this project who came in to speak about the importance of play. And one thing I heard was that some Shrewsbury educators, yes, Peter Gray, thank you, yes, I heard that some Shrewsbury educators came to that and were very appreciative as well.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, that's his research area
Yes,
at BC.
right. Yeah.
I have to tell you a cute little story about that. I volunteer on Mondays at St. Mary's kindergarten. So the other day, they were supposed to color when they finished putting the short sound E, this little paper. And one little child said, I don't want to color. And the other child said, you should color. It's good for your development. And the other little girl goes, I saw that too. It's good to strengthen your arms if you color. I saw this on TV and it's good if you do that.
Somebody's paid.
So,
That's great.
But my point is, these are the things that help kids to develop multiple skills.
Yeah.
But I just got such a kick out of it. Oh, it's good, you need to color.
Staying in the lines is
Yeah.
another issue.
You haven't gotten to the lines yet. I'm just getting to the colors somewhat in the lines.
I think we have an adult coloring group here at the library,
Yeah.
so
It's supposed to be
it's
soothing.
good for everyone.
Yes, right, relaxing.
It's one of those Zen type activities,
Yes.
I think.
But if you have a chance to visit the children's room, you want to take a look at the new play space.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, great. So our next item is the FortiGate service and order contract.
Oh, I did add that on. See, I have the old one printed. How did I end up doing that? Well, I will be able to tell you about that. I had added it under miscellaneous. I must have printed the old version of my agenda. So we've been experiencing some challenges with our internet access, of it kind of fading in and out at times. Previously, it would happen periodically, maybe once or twice a month, and more recently, it's been happening many times during the day. And this disrupts our public computers and disrupts public Wi-Fi. But it also, unfortunately, disrupts our automated handling system because of a connection that helps the three different networks connect together to make that system run. We had worked, the firewall that we have that protects our network is called FortiGate, and we did not have it, when it was installed in the building, it was done to match what was done town-wide. The town hall had FortiGate, and the schools had FortiGate, and so we were going along with kind of the standard to develop expertise across the different organizations. When we started having problems, we reached out to the town MIS, and unfortunately the person who had been on staff who was familiar was no longer with town MIS. And we had to reach out to Selco staff, and there were two employees over at Selco, a couple of their technicians who though not certified in FortiGate, were able to help us a couple times, but they had to spend a tremendous amount of time. For instance, once when we had a power outage, which brought down our Fortinet and lost all our settings, they had to come in and spend a whole day, 2 of their Celco employees kind of doing this, and this was obviously not a long-term solution. We had looked at training opportunities, but training opportunities are very limited. And then our next approach was to try to find a FortiGate certified service provider. And even that took us some time. We learned that there were 25 across the country. And we have found one at a recommendation from the technology director at the high school. And so we have just negotiated a contract with them. I've been working with the town manager to ensure that this is meeting procurement laws and so forth. And so we will be starting up what's called a managed service contract, where they will come in and install equipment to monitor what is going on with our Fortinet settings and try to help us get beyond this. And then we'll manage it going forward. So we've been able to negotiate a 2-year contract at a rate that we believe we can afford within our existing budget right now. The town manager has spoken to me about the possibility of a finance committee transfer if we feel it's necessary, but I'm going to make a recommendation to him that we just leave it be for now, see how we come out at the end of the fiscal year, and then decide at that point. But I'm very happy to have a company on board. They have not started yet. We just signed the contract yesterday, but we're really anxious to get them going as quickly as possible. Most people, if they're on the public hardwired computers, might not recognize it because the loss of connectivity is so quick that they might not see it. It may take a minute for a page to load, and things may seem a little slow. The Wi-Fi patrons who are on their own devices using Wi-Fi sometimes notice it more because they get disconnected to the Wi-Fi and then they have to reconnect again. So it's a little bit more obvious. And we can recognize it at the automated handling system by some of the kind of alarm panels we see that are trying to reconnect. So I'm feeling really pleased with the references I got on the company that we have the contract with. Security 7 is the name of the company. So I'm hoping that we will be able to resolve that response time very quickly and.
So it's correcting itself, like you say, people don't notice it.
People might not notice it. People who are maybe downloading content might notice it more than someone who's just looking at a website. Mm-hmm. They might not see. They might realize, that website took a while to load. Yeah. Sometimes they're getting stuck in the circles where they're waiting, and they'll come to the desk and say something wrong with the internet. They may not have a sense that it's related to. This control unit. They might think it's just more an internet connectivity issue.
Is anybody else in the town having a similar problem?
The high school has a managed service contract with their IT director. The town has not had similar problems. So we believe it is something in the settings. So we're hoping we can get beyond that.
Now, will this company manage remotely?
Yes.
So if it goes down, they can go right in?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's good.
And the fact that it's tied into our automated handling system is of key importance. You might recall we had the system down, I think it's about a year ago, we had the system down for about 2 days. That was what this was about. It takes a long time to figure out what the cause of it is because there are so many connections coming into that system that it can be hard to determine is the FortiGate really the issue involves. We are looking forward to getting this company on board.
Sure.
Is the feeling that it's software rather than hardware?
We think it's the software settings. This is actually a piece of hardware with a software component. Obviously, all the settings that the software that controls this piece of hardware. Mm-hmm. We think it's related to the settings. And there's just not enough in-house town-wide expertise to address it. And the cost of getting training for our existing staff and maintaining that training would be just unrealistic. For one thing, none of our staff are paid at rates that
Yeah.
would keep an employee on
Right.
board if they were 48 certified. You know, we would not
And you
maintain
want
them.
somebody who's dealing with the 48 every day.
Exactly.
And you're not just intermittent.
Right,
like it
exactly.
would be
In
for
order to
our
ma-
staff.
yeah, in order to maintain that training, I know that the town MIS sent a couple employees to the training, which was incredibly expensive. But the cost of keeping it going is the hard part. So,
Okay, and we don't need to do anything on that
no,
right
I
now.
just
We'll
wanted to inform
stay
you
posted.
that, you know, that we are working on that, and we're feeling a little better about having found a company that has the right experience and the right certifications to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Approximately how much is the contract?
$4,000 a year.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not.
yeah, it was not as
Sounds
bad as I
pretty
expected.
essential.
Yes, it is.
You don't want to
Yeah.
operate the internet without some kind of protection.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, like
Right.
the firewall, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, next we have revisions to our appropriate library use policy. And I think everybody got we had the copy on the Google Drive. I did find that one thing was repeated twice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Where are you?
let's see.
Oh, misusing restrooms?
Yes.
Yes, I just noticed that.
Misusing
Okay.
the restrooms was in there twice.
Okay.
Um,
Cross that out. So the attempt of the changes highlighted in green are to address a few things. One is kind of a clarification about where food is allowed in the building. We had some contradictory stuff in other policies. Also, a clarification of how the distribution of literature can be managed related to an issue we had earlier this year. And then just a notice that sleeping is not allowed in the library.
So it might be beyond someone's control. but
Well, this
on
is
occasion.
within reason. This is to address issues of people
Yes,
coming in and
yeah.
actually
Using this as
using it as a
home.
suite, yeah.
Yeah.
Not someone just dozing off.
Right, we won't be, we won't
Yeah,
be
that
knocking
doesn't
people
hurt.
over the head with a little knife or something.
Yes.
I know, I was thinking.
Especially if you're sitting in the sun.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a nice comfy chair, but sometimes you snooze.
Yeah.
I see I'm misusing the restrooms, it says IE. I would think, shouldn't that
Oh.
be EG?
EG, yes.
Because there's probably more than just laundry
Yes.
or washing
Yeah.
facilities.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
You've had issues like this?
It can become a problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like if people are, using the library as their home.
Well,
basically.
it's true, I didn't think about that.
I was in the Boston Public Library recently, and it was quite obvious
Right,
that
that's a
was one of the
situation,
reasons
yes.
Yeah.
people were, yeah.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the policy changes?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so passes unanimously.
I'm glad to see the one about appropriate supervision of children.
Mm.
That's important.
Yeah. So the next is the Library Foundation. They have their new website.
Right.
Looks very
I
nice.
did give you the address there, but if you go to the library website, you can find a link off one of the sidebars there. We're just really pleased that is now launched. That took a number of months.
Wow.
I do want to thank Claire Nagel, one of our trustees of our foundation, who spent a lot of time with me on that, so that's great. And then we also have a reappointment coming up for one of our members who actually had, his reappointment should have been back in December, but that would be Chris Mena is up for reappointment this year, and those are 4-year terms, so it would be January 2019 to December 22.
Can I have a motion to reappoint Chris Mena?
So moved.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And he's done a lot for the foundation.
He has.
He's a great member.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
He was a founding member, really their important time when we were, just starting out with the bylaws and all the important formative documents of the foundation. So, it's been really helpful and just great advice all along the years.
Okay, then the next thing is that increase in the foundation board members.
Right, so you recall the foundation trustees and the library trustees met a number of months ago, and we do have language that the foundation is considering right now in a bylaw change to increase the members to a minimum of 5 members, as opposed to a definitive 5 members. And one of the things they would like to do is bring in some potential new members to that foundation board. And the bylaws of the foundation state that the library trustees appoint the members of the foundation board. So what I'd like to ask is if the library trustees would do a call for letters of interest from community members for this. We did have a description that, the role description that I think we passed around last meeting, and I did put that up on your packets, that describes kind of the qualities that we'd be looking for new members. And so we could just come up with maybe a schedule for when you would want to have letters submitted. I do have the language we used for the original request for letters of interest, so we could just kind of update that.
Would we post this on the library website? Is that on the
Yeah.
foundation one as well?
I
or-
would propose
Yeah.
to do both, and we could
Okay.
probably do a little press release about it.
Okay.
And then, you would just evaluate the applicants.
And the
decide-
town website might be another thing to
Right,
consider, because I noticed they asked for other kinds of letters on that site.
exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
So do you think you would want to do this for the April meeting or the May meeting? For a deadline for having them in time for
Well,
you to
May
review
we're going to
them?
have some new board members,
That's
because
right.
it's after the
Yeah.
elections.
Right, so maybe wait till May, or do you want to do it
Or should we
before?
do it before?
Will it be after the election?
Because aren't the elections May 7th or something like that?
The early.
Yeah.
It's usually the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's May
meetings.
7th.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will be, yeah.
Yeah.
You could-
Is it time critical at all?
No, I don't think so, Nancy. Do you have any
I don't
thoughts on
think
that?
it's time critical, it's just that, we'd just like to get people on board so that in the fall, we're hoping to launch some, some initiatives, and it'd be good to have some
When
people
is-
on board.
When are you meeting again?
April
April
26th.
26th, I think.
So it wouldn't work for that.
No, wouldn't work for
No,
that.
that's a good point, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Maybe do it for May.
do it
to
for
give
May
I
and
guess
then.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Chance
asking,
to
maybe it's
respond.
good to have the new people on the
Yeah,
board,
right.
too. Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then if you were meeting in June,
29th is our next meeting.
would you possibly be meeting in June?
No, we won't meet until July.
Oh,
July's
so
our
if
next
we did it
meeting.
in May, then
Yeah, that'd
you
be
have
good.
people ready
Yeah.
by July.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so mid-May maybe. I'll look at a date on the calendar and just pick one for the letters due, so you'll get it in time for your May meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds great. Okay, so the next item is our Friends of the Library and book sales coming up.
The dates are all there, but I'll read them out loud. So our book sale starts on Thursday, April 4th, 12 o'clock, 12 noon, 12 to 8:30 on Thursday. Friday, April 5th is 10 a.m. until 4:30. Saturday, April 6th is 9 a.m. until 4:30. And Sunday, April 7th is 1 to 4:30. So they've extended the hours a bit, and looking forward to a great sale. They have an incredible amount of materials that look really good quality, so.
And there's other items in addition to books, I guess.
Yeah, oh yes, they have CDs, DVDs, sometimes they have games. I think they have some games, children's games and adult games. They don't have many framed
Framed
prints
pictures?
this year, not much
I
of
have one
that.
to give them.
Yeah. You have one to give them. But this is an important fundraiser for the Friends of the Library and provides a large share of the funding they provide to the library. So we thank Claire Nagel and Patricia Segerson have been working all year long, planning and working on this, and all the volunteers who contribute.
Do the Friends have enough storage space? Every time I go to the desk, people are dropping off books.
Well, they're all over the building right now. They're in many places.
So the answer is no.
Well, right, it's tight.
But that's a good
It's
problem.
getting tight, especially now, as we
Right.
get closer to the sale.
Yeah.
There are closets on this floor, the friend's room downstairs is getting filled, back down in the storage in the basement, so we have a lot of places that are pretty filled up. It's time to pull them out of those spaces for sure, yeah.
And as I
Yeah.
recall, there's always bargains on Sunday.
Yeah. Yes, right,
For the remaining
Even more so
materials.
this year.
yeah.
Okay, all right, so next is personnel and an update on our communication regarding centralized personnel practices.
Right. So as you may have read, the town has a new human resources coordinator, Christina Anderson. She's a very skilled young woman. I was very impressed with the work she's done so far. She is trying to streamline and make the process of collecting and maintaining personnel records easier. And one of the things she's doing is she's taking the records that are typically started by the clerks in the various departments and then sent over to town hall. She's actually starting that process, so it takes a little bit of work off our own clerks, and it kind of makes it all uniform, making sure that everything is done. So she will be starting with all of our new employees, we'll be sending employees over there to complete all the necessary paperwork.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, and that's also helpful because that they then keep up with all personnel laws, and
Right.
really that the practices are more standardized, so I think that's a great thing. And she is also instituted something called stay interviews, which we just tried out. So a stay interview is really an interview about job satisfaction for new employees, to look at new employees or employees who are new in their position, to look at what factors in their job give them satisfaction, what things could be improved. So I've conducted 4 of them so far, and they've been very interesting, very helpful, and I think the intent is to gather kind of common issues that might come up and keep the town informed about ways that they can address employee satisfaction.
So we don't lose people.
Yeah, so we don't lose people.
That's what the
because
stay
it's a
means.
hiring a good person takes a lot.
Yeah,
So
we
yeah.
had a lot of turnover. Is
Yeah.
it just you that does the stay interviews, or is there someone else there?
It's in all the different departments. They'd be doing it in their own departments.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
But it's
And-
a
oh,
one-on-one kind of
Oh, it's
interview.
one-on-one, right.
Yeah.
And I did have a conversation with Christina about, if I might not be the best person to be doing the interview because it might be hard for a person to tell me, oh, I'm really unhappy
Right.
with this issue.
Yeah.
So she has offered to do any that we want to have done, so,
Oh, that's
yeah,
good.
so that's good. And another,
Oh, sorry. How long does a person work here before you want to do it?
she had suggested that anyone who's been here a year go through that. We started up with, we did not go backwards and do all the old employees. We've just done anyone who's in a new position. They might have been here 10 years, but they started a new position within the last year, or any new employee.
Do you give the employee the option of who's they're going
We
to chat
haven't
with or
done
not?
that because we've kind of just getting into
It's
it,
been
so I've been doing it, but
Yeah.
it might be a good idea to, let them do either one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's been very helpful for me. It's been interesting to hear some of the things that give satisfaction,
Right.
Yeah.
And it's good to hear what
It
the
does.
dissatisfaction.
Especially
Yeah,
if you
that's the
hear the
things you want
same
to work
things
on.
from
Yeah.
different people.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
And then the other thing that she is working on is they are now using an internet-based employment verification system, so she'll be doing that for us as well. So
Oh, nice.
all good, all good. I did have a discussion with the town manager about the idea that, Massachusetts general law has requirements about trustee boards being involved with the hiring of a library director. So I did speak to him about the idea that we would want to be sure our board maintains that authority and be involved in that process.
And I checked the bylaws before I came, and that's in the bylaw.
Yes.
So it would actually need town meeting to change that.
Right.
Yeah, so, okay. So I guess we won't be changing that. Yeah, well, you never
Well,
know.
yeah.
Right away. Okay. And then on miscellaneous, I have, we have a thank you card from the library staff for the breakfast that we had in January. It was very nice, and
I
thank
had
you
the
for
letter done.
everyone
We
who
had-
organized it.
We had the letter done earlier, it's just, I remember to bring it with me, I just want to clarify that it went late in their note. Just, you kept finding it's way to the back of the file.
And you had conflict of interest notice?
Yeah, that was a
Those
while
are the
ago, so I
forms for us.
still do have to collect some forms from a few folks. Joan, I think I need yours, and that's it. So I have an empty form today,
Okay,
so I'll
thank you.
give that to you, and then I'll hand those off. And
Hopefully you don't have to do the training this year.
Please.
I think you're good. I think you're good.
It's only every other year.
Yeah. And then I have one item I'd like to add, which is, just today I had a visit from a Shrewsbury resident who has offered a donation of some sculptures that were done by her aunt, Shay Rager, who is a sculptor of some renown. And what I was thinking, it might be a good thing for the facilities subcommittee to take a look at. She's looking to donate a couple pieces. She has done that with other libraries, and the pieces have worked out very well. So I have images and I have some information from her, but I thought maybe we could just assign that down to the
Yeah,
subcommittee
that
to
sounds
take a
good.
look.
Yeah, okay. So that's Jeff and
Yeah,
Joe, yeah.
We have a meeting scheduled before the next trustee meeting.
Yeah.
Oh,
And these are interior
They could be
sculptures?
actually both,
Oh, they could
which
be.
is kind of nice, and they are all animals, which might be nice.
Oh.
So there's some nice tie-in with other things on our property and
Yeah.
other public art kind of things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, any other items of business? Okay, so our next meeting is scheduled for April 23rd, and we will miss Joan and Kevin.
I will be back for
Hope to
that.
see
Our
everyone
meeting is
else.
scheduled
It's after that, isn't it?
after that. It's
Yeah.
before the,
Is it the 29th?
yeah.
Okay,
Oh, so we
before
thought
our
Do we have a meeting? We don't have a meeting on the 29th. It's on the 23rd.
23rd.
Third.
We do.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
do, yeah.
Okay.
I thought I had it wrong. Okay, yeah, we're good.
Okay.
And on my calendar,
I know.
Same here.
Okay, any,
Actually, the Massachusetts Library Trustee Institute.
Oh, yes,
Um,
thank you. I did.
Yeah, we all probably got copied on that because Ellen sent it out. The MBLC is sponsoring a Library Trustee Institute at the AC Hotel in Worcester on Saturday, April 27th. And I actually signed up for it, but now am unable to attend. And it would be a really good thing to have
Is
at
it-
least one trustee.
Topic was
there.
advocacy, I believe. Was
It's
that right?
advocacy, yeah.
All this day-long event will focus on advocacy and essential role of all library trustees. Keynote speaker will be Kathy Cromer, Associate Executive Director of the ALA in Washington. Additional speakers include Libby Post, strategist and chief and president of communication services, who has worked with libraries in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New York, and a panel on library foundations. Spend lunch networking with fellow trustees, discussing challenges and opportunities in your communities. So it's free, open to all Massachusetts library trustees, and so again, it's from 9:30 to 3 on Saturday, April 27th. So,
I think I did send the link to everyone,
Yes,
so
yes.
they want it.
yeah.
There was some confusion originally, it said each library could only send one person, and now they're saying you can send multiple people.
Right, because
Yeah.
I think they didn't, max it out, so
Oh,
they're opening it to
Oh.
multiple,
Good.
which is good and bad, I guess.
Oh, I see one.
yeah, you want everybody represented,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So if somebody could go that day, that'd be great.
I might be able to go. I can't commit.
Yeah,
100%,
I've been holding off, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that date yet.
Okay. All right. Any other items of business? So can I have a motion to adjourn?
a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Always passes. All right. See you April 23rd. If not before.